So you're in the market for a hybrid Toyota three-row SUV, but the Highlander is a little bit too small and the Sequoia rides on a truck platform and it doesn't have quite as great fuel economy. So could the Grand Highlander Hybrid be the perfect choice for you? Well, let's go for a drive and find out. The Toyota Grand Highlander has three powertrains to choose from. There's a gasoline-only 2.4-liter turbo four-cylinder, a efficient type of hybrid powertrain, which is what this one has, or a more powerful type of hybrid powertrain, which is called the Hybrid Max. I previously did a review of that one last year, and you can check it out up here if you're interested. But getting back to this efficient type of hybrid powertrain, at the heart of it is a 2.5-liter naturally aspirated four-cylinder engine. Combined with the electric motors, one of which is under the hood, the other is powering the back wheels, this powertrain produces 243 horsepower if you look on the Toyota Canada website, but it produces 245 horsepower if you look on the Toyota USA website. I don't know which one is right, but either way, 2 horsepower difference, probably not going to notice it. In everyday driving, this powertrain feels like it has just enough power to get this big and heavy SUV going off the line. At no point did it feel like as though I'm impeding anybody behind me, but even when you do put your foot down, you don't get that sensation of getting pushed into the back of the seat. The speed does build up, but you don't get that sensation, even if you switch it into sport mode. However, like I said earlier, this Grand Highlander is available with a more powerful hybrid powertrain. And if you want that feeling of getting pushed into the back of the seat, then that one is the one to go for. This hybrid version of the Grand Highlander is designed for fuel economy, and it returns some impressive numbers. It's rated for 6.6 liters per 100 kilometers in a city and 7.4 liters per 100 kilometers on a highway. In the week that I've been driving this Grand Highlander, I've been averaging 6.7 liters per 100 kilometers, which is really good considering the size and weight of this big SUV. So this is a very fuel-efficient hybrid three-row SUV, but it's not the most exciting to drive. The steering doesn't have that much feel and the suspension is on the softer side, so when you do push it more to the limits, then it will understeer. But this SUV wasn't designed for driving pleasure, it was designed for comfort, and it is very easy to drive. The steering is light, so it makes it very easy to maneuver whenever you're in a tight parking lot, and also the turning circle. It's actually not that bad. So at the end of the day, although it's not the most enjoyable three-row SUV to drive, it is a very easy one to drive. And I think that's what matters most for families looking for a big three-row SUV, something that's easy and fuel efficient. And the Grand Highlander Hybrid ticks off both of those boxes. But now, how does it do with interior space and comfort? Let's go check it out. Being a family SUV, the 2025 Toyota Grand Highlander Hybrid provides a supple ride. The suspension easily absorbs big potholes and uneven manhole covers. The shunt of the tire hitting the edge of a bump is rounded off and not much gets transferred into the cabin. Additionally, the big seats are plush. I did not feel any pressure points. On highways, the most unwanted noise that intrudes into the cabin is that of tire noise. However, it's not any worse than in some other three-row SUVs like the Mazda CX-90. The engine is quiet when you're driving normally around town, but it gets noisy when it has to work harder. Additionally, the transition from the electric motors to the gasoline engine turning on is seamless. Now let's take a look at the inside of the Toyota Grand Highlander, and it is very simple to use. It has physical climate controls, physical buttons on the center console for the different drive modes, and it has physical buttons on the steering wheel, and all of these are very, very simple to use. It's not the most eye-catching interior design, and Toyota have tried to spruce it up just a little bit with the fake wood that's on the door panel, as well as the dashboard. There is also some stitching across the dashboard and also on the center console, and most of the materials that you actually touch and feel are pretty soft. However, there are a few harder plastics, but thankfully they are relegated to the lower portions of the cabin. And thankfully, Toyota has not festooned this cabin with gloss black plastic. There is a little bit surrounding the climate controls, also a little bit here next to the shifter, and a little bit on the bottom of the steering wheel. But otherwise, it's just regular matte looking plastics. As for space, of course, in these front seats, there's zero issues with it. I have plenty of leg space and plenty of headroom for my above average height of 6'4". I did lower the seat to its lowest position, but I still feel like I sit decently high up, so I can easily see over the hood. Blind zones are not that big, and I can also see out the back. However, if the third row is raised with the headrests up, then rear visibility does become hampered a little bit. But on the top spec Platinum trim with the Hybrid Max powertrain, you do get a rear camera mirror. So you would just flip this rear mirror up and you get an unobstructed view out the back. Unfortunately, that's the only trim that has that feature. This one just has an auto dimming mirror and that's it. But otherwise, if you keep those rear seats down with the headrest down, then you shouldn't have any issues. And yeah, that's about it for the front seats. Now let's go check out the back seats. In this second row, the Grand Highlander is available with bench seats or captain's chairs, and that'll dictate whether it's a 7-passenger or an 8-passenger SUV. Obviously, this one has the bench seat. And this bench is split 60-40, so you can slide it, if I can find the control, there we go. You can slide it forwards and backwards, and of course, recline. As for space, behind my 6'4" driving position, my knees are gently brushing up against the back of the front seat, but they don't feel squished at all. I have plenty of space for my feet, even though the seat is at its lowest point, and I have plenty of headroom. My hair isn't actually brushing up against the headliner. So all in all, a very spacious second row. Now comes the real test, the third row. Getting into the third row is simple. Pull on this, seat slides forward, and you have a lot of space to get in. Now, with the seat at its most backward point, it is a little bit tight in here for my 6'4" height. I can feel my knees digging into the back of this second row seat. But it is more spacious back here than the regular Highlander, and more spacious than the Sequoia. Even though the Sequoia is physically a big SUV, interior space is less than this one. So if you're looking for a hybrid 3-row SUV from Toyota, I think this is your best bet. Behind the seats, the 2025 Toyota Grand Highlander Hybrid has 586 liters of space. With the third row seats folded, the cargo capacity increases to 1,640 liters. Behind the front row of seats, the Grand Highlander can swallow up to 2,761 liters of cargo. That's just over 2 meters from the back of the front seats to the power liftgate. There is a little bit of storage space under the trunk floor, and if you lift up the bottom cover, you'll find a temporary spare wheel. So you like the space and the fuel economy that the Grand Highlander provides, but how much is it going to cost you? Well, if you want it with the hybrid powertrain and without any bells and whistles, then the XLE trim starts at just over $54,000 Canadian. This one is the limited trim, and it'll cost you about $64,500 Canadian. For the Canadian market, the Grand Highlander Hybrid XLE comes standard with heated front seats and a heated steering wheel, a 10-way power driver seat and an 8-way power passenger seat, a 6-speaker audio system, the large 12.3-inch infotainment touchscreen, a wireless phone charging pad, and a power liftgate. Opting for this limited trim will add a panoramic sunroof, heated outboard rear seats, ventilated front seats, leather upholstery, a full digital driver instrument cluster, and an 11-speaker JBL audio system. As for the exterior looks, if there was a standardized definition of an SUV, this would be it. The 2025 Toyota Grand Highlander Hybrid looks big, but even with its enormous size, I don't think it has much road presence. It looks like a generic SUV. Take away the Toyota badge and it could be a Honda, a Hyundai, a Kia, a Ford, or whatever else. Let's recap. The Toyota Grand Highlander is obviously more spacious than the regular Highlander. It has better fuel economy and rides better than the Sequoia. So does that make it the best hybrid three-row Toyota SUV? I think it does. The closest competitor to this one that I see, outside of Toyota obviously, is probably the Mazda CX-90 plug-in hybrid. That one has roughly the same starting price as this, but it does cost a little bit more if you go up to the GT trim. Then again, that one is a plug-in hybrid, not a self-charging hybrid like this one, so there are those trade-offs. But regardless, I think that this Grand Highlander Hybrid is one of the best sort of mid-sized three-row hybrid SUVs out there. In the meantime, if you would like to know more about this SUV, I have a more detailed written review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner right up here. And as always, I will see you in the next car, truck, or most likely another SUV. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.